How can a $10 can of WD-40 stop a $1,300 repair bill before it starts? Most drivers see it as a household product, something you use on door hinges or bike chains. But what if I told you mechanics rely on this same product to prevent catastrophic failures that cost thousands? Here's the truth. Dealerships don't want you to know. Many major repairs start as small issues that WD-40 can prevent entirely. Mechanics see it every day. Components that seize, corrode, or fail from moisture, all leading to bills over $1,000. Yet strategic applications could have stopped them cold. In this video, we're exposing 7 proven tricks that real technicians use to save customers from massive bills, backed by corrosion test data, lab studies, and shop case results. So if you want your vehicle to last longer and save serious money, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Trick number 1, the $10 exhaust bolt. Saver. Most people think seized exhaust bolts or oxygen sensor bolts mean you need a new manifold or cutting torches. An instant $1,000 plus bill. Once a bolt rusts into place, there's no saving it without professional extraction, right? Wrong. Rust bonds metal together at the microscopic level, and torquing harder snaps studs, making it 10 times worse. WD-40. Specialist penetrant breaks that oxide layer by chemically creeping into the threads, dissolving the corrosion from the inside out. Hagerty's comparative test rated WD-40 Specialist Penetrant 7 out of 10 for loosening rusted nuts, while internal testing showed 50% faster penetration than leading competitors. Real shop cases show owners freeing exhaust bolts that would have required cutting and drilling, avoiding manifold removal entirely. Spray WD-40 Specialist Penetrant directly on exhaust, manifold, or suspension bolts that won't budge. Tap the bolt lightly with a hammer to help the formula wick into the threads. Respray after 10 to 15 minutes, then use steady pressure to break it loose. This prevents snapped studs and manifold jobs that can run over $1,300. One subscriber saved $1,200 by freeing his Honda Civic's exhaust manifold bolts that are shop quoted for full replacement. But what if your car hasn't seized up yet? The next trick stops rust from ever starting, for an entire year. Trick number 2, rust proofing. Hidden metal with long-term corrosion. Inhibitor rust protection requires expensive undercoating services or professional oil sprays that cost $300 to $500 per application, right? Most drivers assume there's no affordable way to protect brake lines, fuel fittings, and subframe components. But WD-40's long-term corrosion inhibitor forms a wax film barrier proven in outdoor exposure tests to prevent corrosion for up to 12 months, and it costs $15. This product performs comparably to professional treatments at a fraction of the cost. Independent outdoor panel tests confirmed no visible corrosion after a full year of rain, humidity, and salt exposure. Field mechanics across Rust Belt states report using it yearly on brake line unions and finding them still serviceable after 5 to 10 years, while untreated vehicles need complete line replacement. Spray it after washing your vehicle or before winter hits. Target brake line unions, spare tire cables, subframe mounting points, exhaust hangers, and any exposed hardware underneath. Allow it to dry for 30 minutes. It leaves a clear, protective film. This protects fittings from seizing together and dramatically slows underbody rust progression. You'll avoid $700 to $1,500 brake line jobs. For older SUVs like the Chevy Silverado, Toyota Tacoma, or Honda CR-V in northern states, this single habit can add 5 years of serviceable life to vulnerable steel lines. And if rust protection is that powerful, wait until you see how moisture can shut your car down completely overnight, and how the next trick brings it back to life in 60 seconds. Trick number 3, bringing dead ignition systems back to life. When your car won't start after rain or a car wash, it's a dead alternator, ignition coil, or starter, right? Mechanics immediately quote you $300 to $600 for electrical diagnostics and parts replacement. Here's the kicker. Often, it's nothing more than moisture trapped inside spark plug wires, distributor caps, or coil pack connectors. WD-40, literally Water Displacement Formula 40, was originally designed by the aerospace industry to solve exactly this problem on missile components. Engineering documentation and countless mechanic testimonials confirm it restores spark by evaporating trapped moisture and leaving a protective dielectric film. One technician reported reviving 23 vehicles over 3 months that customers assumed had failed ignition systems, all fixed with a $10 can and 2 minutes of work. Here's what the pros do. Spray WD-40 multi-use product directly on spark plug wires, distributor caps, coil pack connectors, and around ignition components. Let it sit for 60 seconds to displace the water and dry the surfaces. Then try starting the engine. You'll likely hear it fire up immediately. This eliminates unnecessary towing charges and misdiagnosed parts replacements. You'll avoid $150 tow bills plus $300 parts you never needed. The protective coating prevents corrosion on electrical connections, ensuring smoother idle and more reliable starts during humid weather. But if that saved you a tow truck and a misdiagnosis, the next one prevents another top cause of roadside breakdowns, and it's hiding right under your hood. Trick number 4, the battery terminal lifesaver. Your owner's manual says to replace corroded battery cables and terminals. Most drivers assume once that white or green buildup appears, it's time for new parts. Mechanics quote $200 to $300 for battery cable replacement when corrosion gets bad enough. But WD-40's specialist contact cleaner dissolves acid residue and neutralizes corrosion completely, restoring full electrical conductivity without leaving residue. The corrosion isn't permanent damage, it's a chemical reaction that can be reversed. Lab analysis shows it removes over 95% of surface contaminants and dries in seconds. Mechanics report saving customers from replacing perfectly good batteries and alternators that were failing only because terminal corrosion blocked current flow. Disconnect your battery terminals, spray them thoroughly with WD-40 Specialist Contact Cleaner, let it foam and work for 30 seconds, then brush with a wire brush and wipe everything clean. Reconnect and coat the terminals lightly with WD-40 Multi-Use to prevent future buildup. This prevents voltage drops that strain your electrical system and extends both battery and alternator life by years. You'll avoid $200 to $500 charging system misdiagnoses where shops replace alternators that were functioning fine. This trick is especially critical for vehicles driven short distances, hybrids that stress batteries, or winter storage cars that sit for months. And if keeping power connections clean matters that much, wait until you hear about the corrosion issue that can literally total your car over time. If you're finding this information valuable, hit that like button to help other car owners discover these truths. Trick number 5, protecting brake lines and undercarriage fittings. Brake lines are fine until they fail inspection or burst while driving. A catastrophic safety failure and expensive emergency fix. You've probably been told that brake line rust is inevitable in salt states, and there's nothing you can do except wait for replacement. Here's the dirty secret. Corrosion on brake line fittings begins within months of salt exposure, and once it starts, the oxidation accelerates exponentially. But WD-40's long-term corrosion inhibitor stops that oxidation process before it penetrates the metal, keeping your lines serviceable for years longer. Field mechanics in northern salt zones report using it yearly on fittings and finding them still easily serviceable even after 10 to 15 years of winter driving. Meanwhile, untreated vehicles in the same conditions often need complete brake line replacement by year 7 or 8. According to corrosion engineers, preventing the initial oxidation layer is exponentially more effective than trying to stop rust once it's established. Spray it after each winter wash, targeting the brake lines where they connect at the master cylinder, along the frame rails, at the rear axle unions, and at all hard to soft line transitions. Also treat fuel line fittings and any exposed cable brackets that run underneath. This keeps brake lines safe from rupture and ensures your lines will be serviceable when you need brake work done. You'll extend component life by 5 to 10 years and avoid $1,000 to $1,500 full brake line replacement jobs. For trucks like the Chevy Silverado, older Honda Accords, or Jeep Wranglers with exposed steel lines, this $15 treatment is insurance against catastrophic failure. But if massive brake repairs concern you, sometimes the smallest noises end up costing the biggest money, and the next trick stops that wear before it becomes a replacement bill. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more money-saving automotive insights. Trick number 6, silencing hinges, locks, and latches before they break. Squeaky door hinges and sticky trunk latches are cosmetic annoyances that don't affect anything important, right? Most drivers ignore these symptoms completely until something actually breaks and needs replacement. Wrong. Those squeaks and binding points indicate metal-on-metal wear that destroys hinges, galls lock mechanisms, and overworks electronic actuators until they fail. WD-40's multi-use formula dissolves dirt and moisture while lubricating contact points, preventing that destructive galling process. Mechanics report vehicles lasting over 100,000 miles longer without hinge sag or latch binding when owners apply WD-40 quarterly to all moving exterior mechanisms. One technician documented 12 door lock actuator failures on identical model SUVs between years 8 and 10, but 0 failures on units where owners maintained their latches. Those actuator replacements cost $300 to $400 each. Here's what the pros do. Spray WD-40 multi-use on door hinges, trunk lock mechanisms, window tracks, hood latches, and key cylinders every 3 months, or whenever you hear a squeak developing. Work the mechanism back and forth several times to distribute the product, then wipe away excess. This prevents $300 to $400 power lock actuator replacements, stops hinge wear that causes door sag and alignment issues, and keeps your locks functioning in freezing weather. You'll avoid window regulator strain from binding tracks and prevent trunk latch failures that strand you with a trunk that won't close. For older sedans and SUVs with power locks and tailgates, this quarterly maintenance adds years before electronic components burn out. Those tricks save individual components, but this final one can literally buy you years before corrosion eats your entire car alive from underneath. Trick number 7. Seasonal full-body armor. Against moisture and salt, rust-proofing requires professional oil spray treatments that cost $300 to $600 annually, or permanent rubberized coatings that cost over $1,000 and can trap moisture if they crack. Your mechanic has probably told you there's no affordable DIY option for serious corrosion protection. But here's the kicker. WD-40's long-term corrosion inhibitor acts like a seasonal shield for your entire undercarriage, ideal for protecting frame rails, engine mounts, suspension mounting points, and cross members during winter storage or road salt season. This approach gives you professional-grade protection at 2% of the cost. Outdoor exposure tests show surfaces treated with it remained rust-free for 12 full months after repeated salt spray exposure that would normally cause significant oxidation within weeks. Body shop technicians in coastal and snowbelt regions report customers who apply this treatment before winter see dramatically less frame rust progression compared to untreated vehicles of the same age and mileage. Spray it under your car before winter hits, targeting frame rails, strut towers, cross members, radiator support brackets, suspension pivot points, and engine mount areas. Work on a cool day so the product doesn't evaporate before forming its protective film. Wipe any overspray off painted body panels to prevent staining. This adds years of serviceable life to structural parts, stops frame corrosion that can make a vehicle unsafe or unsellable, and protects resale value by preventing rust-through that tanks trade-in offers. You'll extend frame life by 5 to 10 years and avoid $2,000 plus rust repair or welding costs that many shops won't even attempt. For any car stored outdoors or driven in snowbelt conditions, especially pickups, Jeeps, and older SUVs with vulnerable frames, this $15 seasonal treatment is the difference between a vehicle that lasts 20 years versus one that rusts out in 12. So those are the 7 tricks that real mechanics swear by, tricks that separate smart car owners from people who fund their dealership's next expansion. So there you have it, 7 real tricks that can save you thousands of dollars in avoidable repairs. From freeing seized bolts to preventing catastrophic rust and reviving dead electronics, each one proves how small maintenance habits create massive financial wins over the life of your vehicle. And let's be real, dealerships and repair shops profit off corrosion, seized hardware, and electrical issues that start small and grow expensive. But now you know how to stop them before they ever appear on an estimate. Hit like if you found this breakdown useful and subscribe to the channel now. I'll continue to guide you through the real facts of car maintenance, saving you thousands. Until then, protect your ride, protect your wallet,